Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Color. I am Erica, and you are now about to tune in to part 3 of my Diversity Roundtable. So without further ado, here we go. Times now, we have people in our color guard that I teach now at AMP that are transgender and things like that. And I'm still getting used to the they, them, things like that. And it's not me being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? If I make a mistake and say he or she, but before all of this happened, I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lack of knowledge about it. It's not that it just now started. No. Racism didn't just now started. No. You know what I'm saying? These are just things that we are now like you said in the beginning, Nicole, we have to stop and think about
even now at Oviedo JB, I have 2 kids that are trans. Mm-hmm. And one is a him, they, even though I look at them, mm-hmm. And their name is Virgil. You look at Virgil, you want to go, her, you know, and I even yesterday, I even said her. I'm like, damn it. And I felt so bad. I'm like, sorry. And I turned around, but they know I'm learning because it's all new. It's all new. I have a trans kid in one of my other high school color guards. And, so I take it into account when I design the uniforms now. I'm like, making sure that kid feels comfortable in that costume. Right. Even Virgil, the JV guard, I'm like, Virgil, we're doing man. I feel like a woman, so you're going to be dressed as a woman. Are you okay with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. Because literally you're the only person, because the other trans kid is going male to female, so she's good. She's like, yes, I'm going to wear my hair down, whatever. But it is a learning curve for, especially I think, for older instructors. Now I'm saying that I'm older.
Yes.
But it's a very learning curve because when I started out in color guard, my mom didn't want me to do color guard because she said it's going to make you gay. I'm like, girl. That's sailed a long time ago. But it's all a huge learning curve and whatever. So like me having you see more trans kids now. They're more apt to be a little bit more vocal about who they are and who they're trying to be and all that stuff. So they're
in color guard, everybody just gets called girl. Yeah. Boy, girl, everybody just gets called girl.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
We have a lot of straight boys in AMP.
Yeah.
And they get called girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's just one of those things that I know for me, I have to retrain myself from just calling everybody girl or she or whatever, because I think that it was one of those things that you just got so comfortable in doing.
Yeah, but don't you think also it's a little more taken in the independent world, because at least an independent kid can go, that's just what they do. Like they're not meaning. Right. High school kids are way more into their feelings. So you're like, girl, like, so they're on a whole different other emotional level. Like it's a lot. Like, yeah, I completely understand. Yeah.
I think that's where we need to step in as educators, though, and we need to say, okay, look, here's the culture, and we need to be teaching that culture, because as much as we have all of these different cultures that are influencing on color guard is also its own culture too. I think I see that a lot, and I've had so many straight boys on my team. I've had more straight boys on my team than I've had either gay ones or anybody else, and it kind of blows my mind because we're in such a rural area and such a conservative area that these boys are really having to fight a lot of stereotypes to come and join in what we're doing as a straight man or a straight high school student and endure that sort of teasing, even though they're not gay or they're not trans. And it's really odd because that's not normally what everybody has to fight on the other side. Right. It's what we're dealing with here, though.
And my head goes extremely back to South Shore. You have all those boys together, I mean, and they're doing something that is completely taking them away from what real life is, which is literally a life and death situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I completely get that. And it's just again, it's a culture. It's something that we have to look at because it's an art form. You either like it or you don't. It is not for just straight kids or for just gay kids,
Right.
you know, it's for everybody. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not keeping you here. And so when I would get like a trans kid and, you know, it was something that was brought up to me, I would go straight to the parent and then I'd go straight to the kid. And we would have that conversation like, what would you like to be called? Would you like this kind of cut? You know, the male cut instead of the female cut or vice versa. And it was always something that was brought up. And it was always something that like, hey, if you want other people in the Guard to know how they need to approach you, do you want me to say it or do you want to say it? It's always that, because ultimately, like Matthew said, it's like one of those places you want to be comfortable where they are. Right. And as a, you know, you want your Guard to be comfortable, and then you want to be comfortable yourself as a director talking to these kids because they're going to want to come to you.
Right.
We just got to remember is that this is not a process that's going to take 24 hours for you to fix and you'll be good for the rest of your life. There is work in progress. Just like myself. Yesterday I did it, and what made me realize it, I said it and I stumbled on my statement because I was thinking and I went a different direction. So as long as everyone understands that there's a different culture that everybody doesn't understand, just take the moment and step back and listen, watch, learn. COVID-19, I joke around it just a slight bit, say, you know what? This is probably the best thing that has ever happened because it gives people the pause. You have to stop. Just like people were saying earlier today. Hey, you know, I was thinking about the guard, and not about my health, myself, and this and that. But now that COVID came in, it paused everything. It gave myself and other people that are involved in my organization the moment to look at our organization, look at what we're doing as a staff, look at what we're doing to teach these children. What are we going to be doing in the future? And thankfully, we have great things put in place, but there's always room to make improvement.
Or what kind of changes do you guys feel like needs to be made within the marching arts in general, DCI, WGI, when it comes to, you know, being on panels? I know, you know, Nicole, you were saying earlier, like, you know, you hope that there are other people trying to take the same lead and everything like that. I know. So for me, to answer that question, I know me personally, I do feel like just the conversation needs to continue. You know, I just hope that it doesn't die down when things start to open up again, maybe when COVID-19 kind of goes away, or hopefully whenever it does go away. I don't want any of the conversation to die down about, I know that it's hard. Like, I know Drew gave it to me, was like yesterday, like, Erica, your questions are hard. Like, because it's like, ultimately, these are questions that you really have to think about. And ultimately, like, giving people the knowledge through like diversity trainings and things like that, or maybe clinics that maybe isn't just about spinning clinics, but clinics on treating people right. Like, it sounds crazy, but you can really like have a clinic, you know, of just doing different activities of getting to know people in all shapes and forms. You know,
our leadership and team building clinics are our second most requested ones after beginner clinics for Spintronics, because people don't know how to build that culture into their programs of getting the kids to work together and lead each other.
I think it kind of needs to come from the top down.
Yes.
I do think that the sponsoring organizations need to do a better job at providing resources for their groups, for because you know, we all know that WGI hadn't done the best job this summer in what they needed to
Michael.
And I think that I'm a kind of person, I'm a you know, I kind of live my life where I do much better. You tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. And if my having our organizations as a part of WGI says, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to make sure your staff, your kids, your organization does these things and uses these models to operate. I know that for me, I'm gonna follow the rules. The sponsoring organizations need to do a better job at guidance, because there's so many people who just, decide to start a little color guard in their area because they spun in their backyard. They don't understand all these things. They don't understand all the level of importance and the effect that they can have. I think there just needs to be more guidance from the top down.
Like I said, thank you. Again, I will tag all of you guys, and please feel free to, share it amongst your social medias.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Go Bus.
As always, guys, I want to thank you so much for all of your views and for watching these diversity roundtables. If you have not checked out part 1 and part 2, please make sure to go back and do that. And also check out the link below to my We Are Here Black Lives Matter performance. Stay tuned for part 4.